Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial, and today I wanted to share some festive note cards with you all. So I wanted to share how you can make some quick and beautiful foiled note cards, for any season using foil magic. Now, in case you have missed out my earlier videos where I show you how foil magic in action, I'll link them down below for you. So what I do is I start off with a piece of dual textured white 300 GSM cardstock by CrafTangles. This is 8 inches by 4 inches in size and scored at 4 inches along the 8-inch side. So what this will do is it will create a 4 by 4 inch card. Okay, and then what I do is I take two stencils. One is small Ganeshas by CrafTangles and the other one is called Indian Motifs. Now I was going more for a ethnic Diwali kind of a quick cards, which you can add on top of gifts or just give out to people alongside whatever gifts or etc. Whenever you just meet them. So I was going for that. However, you could have easily replaced these stencils with some Christmas themed stencils and made a Christmas card or a congratulation card or congratulations on your new home or graduation cards, etc. There are so many ideas. And again, you could switch up the color of foil to the one of your liking. CraftAngles has 14 colors right now in foils. So what I do is I fix my stencil on top of the note card using some tape. Now this is a very important point. That is because in case your stencil moves even slightly, the foil magic will stick there. And unlike ink blending where you just put some extra ink on top of it and make sure that people don't see that ink blending mistake. In case of foil magic, since the foil magic is already in that area, whenever you go to apply foil on top of it, it is going to not give you a very clean stencil look. That is why make sure that your stencil is properly fixed onto the medium wherever you are using, be it MDF, glass, or paper, anything, and then apply foil magic. So for that, I have used tape, and to reduce the tackiness of tape, what I do is I uh, rub the tape on my hand. So what that does is the oils from my hand or my body will reduce the tackiness of tape, and then I apply the tape on the top of paper. So what will happen is the tackiness is reduced and the chances of the tape tearing my paper reduces significantly. Now, once I'm done applying the stencil on the paper, you can see that I have immediately dunked it in the pot. Now, this pot is specifically meant for cleaning my stencils. I don't use it for food or anything else. What this does is while I'm working, let's say I'm working with 15-20 stencils, I just go on dunking them one after one once I'm done into that pot, and then later on I clean them all together. So this serves two purposes. So by the time I come to cleaning, which is normally an hour later, most of my stencils are already cleaned automatically since they are in the water. And two, I'm reducing the wastage of water. Okay. And this particular thing, foil magic, once dry, it is permanent on glass, anything, stencil, so it is permanent on plastic, anything that it comes in contact with. So make sure that you clean your stencil immediately, or rather like how I have done, put it in water immediately so that by the time you come back to clean, your stencil is not ruined. Also, like how I have protected my glass media mat with paper, make sure you do that because it is permanent on glass media mat as well. So either clean after every use if you are applying it directly on glass media mat, because once it is dry, it is even permanent on glass media mat, or use a paper or something which you can later on throw. Okay, so now what I'm doing is this was the Ganpati stencil that I showed you. Now I wanted to show you something more intricate because we get a lot of questions like, will this paste work on the intricate stencils, etc. Because it is comparatively a more fluid paste as compared to, a texture paste or anything like that. However, I wanted to put that doubt rest, and that is why you see me using a very intricate stencil. So this is Indian Motifs by CraftAngles, and it's just a motif that I wanted to foil. And you will see that I go with a very light hand. Again, go with a light hand, don't apply a lot of pressure, and use a tape. That is very important, to make sure that your stencil doesn't move at all. So if you do take care of all these steps, your foiling will be breeze, guys. If a lot of you had this issue while applying foil glue on your project with stencils, use these tips that I told you and it will work beautifully for you. Now, once it is dry, so how do you know it is dry is that the layer becomes completely clear. So in the video, you can hardly see the Ganpati impression, right? You can see it, but it's not very prominent. That is because as soon as it dries very clear. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking CrafTangles reactive foils. The color that I'll be using will be gold and copper. Okay. Uh, so what I do is normally all my foils, I just store them in bundle, because that is easier for me to store it in my house because I don't have a lot of space rather than, keeping one for individual color. That is why you see all my foils in one bundle. However, if you buy these foils, you get one bundle per color. So you get 6 by 6 inches roll by 10 feet or 120 inches roll, and it lasts you long. Like, trust me, I have been using it for years now. Now for the first note card, which is the Ganpati one, what I am doing is I am using my die cutting machine. So I'm going to show you two techniques with which you can use the foil magic. The first one is the die cutting and the second one is going to be laminator, and then we'll compare the result. Okay, that how is there any difference in the quality of foiling that you get, etc. Now, while foiling with your die cutting machine, make sure that your foiling remains exactly the same as your dies, whenever you use. However, add one cardstock between, so at the top and the bottom of your cardstock on which you are doing foiling. Now, why I do that is because my plates are very thoroughly used and they have those die cutting patterns on top of it. So I don't want those die cutting patterns to be pressed into my foil, because then it will create a very shabby look, and that is why I add a piece of cardstock at the top and at the bottom. So this is very important to make sure that you have a clean layer. That is why you see I had added a cardstock at the top as well as at the bottom. And now here you can see how beautifully the foiling has come, right? Now, the second step that we'll be doing is using laminator. Again, you can use these negatives as well. So you can use these negatives with plain toner sheets, or you can use these negatives with sticky back. And you can probably make something out of it as well. So now if you see, like here, there was one stray dot where the foil stuck. So what I'm doing is I'm just using my scissors and removing that lightly. You can also use a sand eraser if you have one. I don't, so that is why I have used scissor, and with very light hand I removed that extra foiling. That is another tip for you in case you get extra foiling on your project. Now my second note card will be using laminator. Now you can see the light is green. That means my laminator is hot and ready to go. Now the second one, which is the Indian motif one, I am applying the copper foiling, and I have created basically a pocket using two printer paper sheets, and then I have put my cardstock in between, and on the top of that I have added foil, and I'll pass that through the laminator, and then you'll see the magic. Now these foil magic will work with or without heat. However, pressure is very important. So if it is possible to do it through bone folder, however, make sure that you apply enough pressure, guys. Because if you don't apply the pressure, how is the foil going to stick, right? At the end of the day. So it needs either heat or pressure or both. Now in this case, we have given it both, which is heat and pressure. And do you see how beautifully the foil has come? Now both this and die cutting machine are my favorite ways to do foil magic. And do you see that raised look that we got? That is what I was showing you from the sideways. So this raised look is very unique to foil magic because after all it's a paste and you get kind of an embossed look without using embossing powder or anything. So that was the video for today where I show you both the ways, the die cutting machine as well as the laminator, and based on what products you have you can use either, and both of them give you really beautiful effect. So that was the video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to like and comment, and do consider subscribing. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care.